Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, I'm going to be continuing to talk about Robert Lewandowski and Alejandro Balde because there are updates coming out in the media every single day. What is the latest? Who can play against Inter Milan on Tuesday in the Champions League? As well, I want to be giving you guys an update in regards to Frankie de Jong. What is the latest in regards to his contract situation? And lastly, I want to be talking about Toni Kroos because he spoke about Pedri and he gave some glowing praise about the Spanish midfielder. We're going to be talking about all that on today's video. But as always, guys, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Everything is posted down below in the description. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. And as well, the link to become a member is also posted down below. But guys, let's get started with the video. All right, guys, let's get started with the video and let's talk about Robert Lewandowski because honestly, he's been a miraculous recovery. You know, at the start, a couple days ago, guys, I was coming onto the channel and I was saying, hey, Robert Lewandowski, the goal for Barcelona is for him to be fit after the game against Real Madrid. There was doubts saying he's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. Then the reports that were being more positive, saying, oh, you know, potentially he could be there for the El Clasico. And now reports were saying, oh, he's going to be involved in the game against Inter Milan. And today he trained with the team. Absolutely fantastic. And him training with the team, and him being back in training means that he is going to be part of Barcelona's game against Inter Milan in the Champions League. Now, of course, of course, what does that mean? Is that Barcelona, they are going to be able to count on his services against the Italian team, and that's going to be super fantastic. You know, not only for the goals that he can give you, but also for his defensive contributions in set pieces. He's absolutely vital, and Barcelona, they're super happy with the work that Robert Lewandowski he was putting in, and it's a testament to his professionalism. A player who has been able to keep himself fit, who has been able to keep his body in the peak of his physical condition. And it's crazy to think that a 37-year-old at his age is able to recover as well. But things are not so positive when you talk about Alejandro Balde, because Alejandro Balde, at first, there were a lot of negative news in regards to Robert Lewandowski. A lot of people were saying, hey, Lewandowski is going to miss the game against Inter, but he is going to be available for the game against Real Madrid. But now reports are saying that because he didn't train with the team today, he's not going to be involved. He's completely ruled out against Inter Milan. It is a big blow for Barcelona, honestly, because of just how important he is for the system. It is going to be a big blow. And right now the reports are saying that Alejandro Balde not going to be able to play against Inter, and if he was able to play, there would be a high risk of relapse. Now, I want to address that first because a lot of people are saying, hey, do you potentially play Alejandro Balde for this match? Do you risk him? Now, my thoughts on the situation is that if you do risk him, you can potentially have a situation such as Samuel Umtiti, where he forced the issue, and then after that, his whole career derailed because of that injury. You're thinking about Ansu Fati. Injuries can have that lingering effect, but when you're thinking about Barcelona being in the semi-final of the Champions League with the option to go into the final, do you risk Alejandro Balde? I don't know, but Hansi Flick, he has chosen not to play him, and I think it's a smart decision. I would do the same. I think Barcelona, they do have the means in order to survive one game without him, and for Alejandro Balde to be able to play against Real Madrid in the weekend. And when we talk about that, what Barcelona they are going to be doing in the absence of Alejandro Balde, there is a lot of rumors coming out in the media. And honestly, I don't like this, leaks being made to the media in regards to what Barcelona they're already doing. But reports are saying that Barcelona, they've been training the past couple of days with this back line in view for that game against Inter Milan in the second leg. And Inigo Martinez will be playing as a left back, Cubarsí and Ron Araujo as the center backs, and Eric Garcia as the right back. That would be the lineup that Hansi Flick he would be fielding against Inter Milan. Obviously, the strengths is that it's very solid defensively. Araujo, very good in transitions. You have some great ball playing center backs right there in Inigo Martinez, Pau Cubarsí, and as well as Eric Garcia. Those passes, in behind could be very, very useful. And of course, we would be very solid in the air. Hopefully, you have 4 center backs who are all, I would say, great in the air. maybe. Barcelona, they don't concede that many chances due to those set pieces. So that is an advantage. But obviously, Inigo Martinez, he's not going to be giving you the same offensive output that a Alejandro Balde is going to give you, and Eric Garcia, he's not Jules Koundé. And so obviously the offensive firepower that you do have with this back line is limited. Our fullbacks in the system under Hansi Flick, they do give you a lot of width, and they are vital in his system. And so looking at that, how confident are you guys in this back line? Or would you guys necessarily just start Gerard Martin, who did have a man of the match performance against Valladolid? But then again, we know that he didn't really have a great time in the Montjuic against Dumfries, and then the San Siro, it could be even worse. And so, moving on now, guys, I want to be talking about Frankie de Jong because, as I've talked about, in previous videos, negotiations between Frankie de Jong and Barcelona, they are going well. Both the player and the club, they are looking to continue their relationship. They are continuing to stay together. But Al Ittihad, they have been closely watching Frankie de Jong's situation, and as of right now, no negotiations are underway. And I ask you guys this question: if a huge offer from Saudi Arabia were to arrive, would you guys sell? Now, this report is from Ravelo, and obviously, a lot of media speculation is circulating in regards to Frankie de Jong. He's performing really well for the club. But as I've always said, my stance has been clear. If a huge offer comes for Frankie de Jong, I would sell. I think Barcelona, with the options that we do have in that midfield, you have your Marc Casado, your Marc Bernal, your Gavi, your Pedri, and potentially we can make a signing in the summer. I don't think you can turn down maybe like an 180, 90 million offer for Frankie de Jong. I think Barcelona, we've always been a terrible selling club, and I do think that this could be an opportunity when his market value is high in order to sell. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. Would you guys want to see Frankie de Jong continue, or are you guys in line with my line of thinking, saying if a big offer arrives, then you can sell? But also, I want to be talking about Iñaki Peña very briefly because before I move on to the words of Toni Kroos. Because as you guys do know, with Szczesny being the starting goalkeeper and Ter Stegen coming back into the lineup, things are looking very grim for Iñaki Peña. And right now, it's as expected. Right now, things are not looking good for Iñaki Peña, and Ravelo is reporting that the most likely thing for Iñaki Peña is that he's going to be leaving Barcelona this summer, and it's likely that he's going to be leaving La Liga. He's not going to be continuing, and he's going to be looking to play and to take his football elsewhere. Now, of course, Iñaki Peña, he is a player who was, I would say, solid in those opening periods of the season in which Ter Stegen was injured. We didn't have a backup. He was solid. I'm going to be honest, he didn't do anything necessarily bad, but Szczesny, he was just able to give you that extra bit of quality, and it's understandable why Hansi Flick, he did rotate, and he did switch from Iñaki Peña being into his number one to Szczesny. But in regards to his future, it's likely that he's not going to continue at Barcelona. Hopefully, Barcelona, they are able to get a fee. I have seen some reports saying that he wants to leave for free, which I am honestly not in favor of. But let's see what happens. And of course, if Iñaki Peña does leave, I wish him all the very best. And moving on now, guys, and talking about the last piece of news, I want to be talking about Toni Kroos, because Toni Kroos, he recently had an interview, and he had some glowing words in regards to Pedri, and it's these words coming from one of the best midfielders of the past couple of years. It speaks to Pedri's talent. Toni Kroos, he talks about Pedri and his importance to the team. He says, "In my eyes, a player like Pedri is almost more important than Lamine, Rafinha, or Lewandowski. They are the ones who decide the outcome of matches, but to achieve that, Pedri is currently the best player in the world in his position, the best midfielder in the world." Those were the words from Toni Kroos, an ex-Real Madrid player. And obviously, Toni Kroos is not a fan of Barcelona whatsoever. But for him to say that Pedri is the best in his position, is some glowing words. And I'm in complete agreement with that. Pedri is the heart and soul of this Barcelona team. You have your attacking firepower, your stars, and Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Lamine Yamal. But in order for this team to run and for the heartbeat of that midfield to function, you need Pedri. And Pedri, throughout the entirety of the season, has shown time and time again how amazing he is. And when we look at some of the words from Toni Kroos, he talks about his speed and dribbling in regards to Pedri. He says, "I've always had the feeling that he doesn't seem fast, but then he started dribbling, and I said to myself, at least he made a mistake, but I can't even do that." And that's crazy because, I don't necessarily view Pedri as an amazing dribbler necessarily in the terms of Lamine Yamal, but that's deceptive. Pedri on the ball, some of the runs that he's able to make, it's absurd. It's extremely difficult to get the ball off of Pedri, and he has those like Iniesta type runs where he's just able to dribble the ball and just breeze past defenders. It's absolutely amazing to watch them. And Tony Cruz, he says, I've been watching what Pedri is doing this season, and in every Champions League alone, he's outclassing his opponents every game. In La Liga, it's even more extreme. He says he's not like Messi, for example, who you see moving at incredible speed. This player doesn't look fast, but he actually is. He's fast because his movement is incredibly light. And those are some glowing words from Tony Cruz, one of the best midfielders, a player who Real Madrid, they are struggling so much without, and you can just see the praise that he has toward the Spanish youngster. And honestly, guys, I think that praise is absolutely warranted. Pedri this season, he's among the best players in the world, not just the best midfielders. I think he's out and out the best midfielder in the world. He's shown that throughout the entirety of the season, but he's generally up there with the best players, potentially the best. I think he's fighting Lamine Yamal for that spot, and obviously he is a Ballon d'Or candidate. We're gonna have to see how these next upcoming games in the Champions League and La Liga turn out to see who's the out and out favorite for that Ballon d'Or. But Pedri, he's not shy from it, and those words from Tony Cruz show the respect that he has towards the Spanish youngster, and the glowing praise that he does have for him. But guys, that was it for the Barcelona news of the day. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you guys make of everything that I have discussed on today's video? What do you guys make of Robert Lewandowski coming back, being able to play against Inter Milan, but likely not from the start? Alejandro Balde ruled out. What a blow. But will be fortunately available to play against Real Madrid. And lastly, rumors in regards to Frankie de Jong, Iñaki Peña, and lastly, those words from Tony Cruz in regards to Pedri. But as always, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys.